Hey there, everybody. What's up? I kind of jumped at the chance to do this video. I was hoping that something would come about live today, and here it is. Sorry I'm a little bit late. As you guys kind of shuffle in, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And, go ahead and share it out and stuff like that. Hit the like button. This is going to be a good video. I think if you're kind of expecting, you know, some hate and stuff, that might not be the case. So today, because this is actually some interesting stuff. So what's up, everybody? How's it going? How you guys doing? I really do appreciate it. So, anyway, let's kind of talk about some of this stuff because this actually just came out. It's actually pretty breaking news. I'm pretty much right on it. So, hey, what's up, everybody in the chat? Please share and like it out. All that kind of good stuff. I definitely means a lot to me. So, anyway, I'm going to get right into it as we sort of get going a little bit into this, and I wait for people to sort of, shuffle in and stuff like that. Just kind of off the cuff. Just a quick reminder, I don't do Xbox Nation anymore on Wednesdays or Crossfire on Fridays. I know some people were kind of confused by that. That stuff could always come back. I mean, Crossfire is still going to go on without me, but, maybe next year it'll be a good time to bring Xbox Nation back. Just at the particular way that I was feeling and stuff like that, I just felt like it was difficult to continue on. And plus, it was really cutting into some of the stuff that I was doing. So, that's just one of those things that I feel like I owed it to myself to kind of just say, hey, you know what, take a little break, see what happens, and kind of take it from there. Okay, now, as you guys know, tomorrow is Xbox X019. I kind of poked a little bit of fun of it yesterday, okay? Because Microsoft was like, it's the biggest event, it's the biggest Inside Xbox ever. And it's the same thing they said last year. And, they say that every year about their E3. And, it comes to the point where you don't even know what they're talking about most of the time. You're just like, what does that even mean anymore? Like, that's particularly how I was taking it anyway. I was just like, what the heck does that even mean? Biggest E3 ever? Biggest Inside Xbox ever? What? What does that mean? So their teaser wasn't really showing me anything that I was going to be excited about or happy about. So then somebody showed me what this insider, you guys know this Z Huge guy, right? He's a pretty renowned insider. Sometimes it's a love-hate relationship with this guy if you're an Xbox fan, because one thing, he used to block people on Twitter with the Scorpio logo. He didn't like that or whatever. I don't know. But maybe he tends to be more of a PlayStation guy. I don't really know. But he tends to be right with stuff. I'll give you a couple examples. He was actually, even though we looked at it at not being right at the time, he actually was kind of right that Microsoft wasn't investing in games. He said that a couple years ago or whatever. And believe it or not, we kind of poked fun of it, but if you look at it, they clearly weren't at that time. He also was the one that called Game Pass getting first-party games day and date before it happened, and a lot of other things too. And he also leaked the official numbers of the Xbox One and all this kind of stuff. So he said, Xbox X019 is worth watching tomorrow if you're a fan of Xbox Game Studios. The event will have solid 2020 release dates for Xbox Game Studios games like Bleeding Edge, Minecraft Dungeons, and Wasteland 3. New IP from Obsidian and a new IP from Rare, a Shadow Drop plus more. He says Microsoft has been investing heavily in its studios, games, and services. Even with next gen around the corner, Xbox Game Studios have approximate half a dozen titles scheduled to ship in 2020 prior to the Scarlet launch. Game Pass will be a big focus as always, both for Xbox Game Studios and third party. And then he says, need to clarify that I wasn't aware that the Shadow Drop game was already dated for November 14th. The game being Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, which is launching tomorrow. So that doesn't really have anything to do with us console gamers. I think that's something that is going to be announced, or it's coming to PC or whatever, Windows tomorrow. So that part doesn't really affect us as Xbox gamers or anything like that, but very interesting that he talks about this. Not only that, but, one of the bigger things, apparently Rage 2 might be coming to Xbox Game Pass. Hey, what's up, WR Cup? Appreciate it. Hey, go Browns. Get out of here, man. Enrico, what's up? Listen, I don't feel terrible. I'm still kind of stuffed up and stuff like that. So, it's just one of those things where I kind of deal with it, pushing through this stuff. It does kind of suck or whatever. So anyway, yeah, he talked about that, Rare and Obsidians. I actually have a little bit of information about this stuff. Now, it's not really spoilery, because I don't know the names of these games or anything, but I do have information of it in which I've linked, and hopefully you guys will understand a little bit more about it. Now, so I was wrong, and other people were wrong that Rare was working on a multiplayer game. Now, maybe this will have some kind of multiplayer game to it. I don't really know. But 2 new IPs are going to unveil. Now, the question that I would have, and this isn't really bashing Microsoft, and this is what I hope you guys understand. If they had 2 new IPs to announce, why didn't they announce them at E3? Like, that's the bigger event. That's the event people were really looking forward to. It's a weird situation to me, but I'll tell you one thing right before I get into some news about these particular games. The first one is this Rare game is reportedly, according to this leak, a few years away from releasing. So you probably figure 2022, 2023. That's sort of where I was putting a lot of Xbox games that coming out, right? I know a lot of people who don't like me were saying I was fear-mongering or whatever. It's fine. But just the math that you can do in your head with how long it takes to create games, you have to figure that some of these games are years away. But Microsoft had this stupid, or maybe it was just Phil Spencer had this idea in his head, right? That you couldn't announce a game unless it was a year away or less, or like 16 months away or less. So to me, that was really going to limit the excitement for Xbox Scarlet. And if they would have stuck by that, I agree. I 100% stick by that thought process, right? Like, who was going to buy an Xbox Scarlet based on like getting a new Halo, right? Like, Halo is good and all, but what about the future after that? If you're not going to show stuff coming a little bit down the line to get people excited and amped up, what's the point? So the biggest news that I took from this is they've switched course on this. Now, maybe it's because they finally do have something to announce and they didn't back then, and they lied to us then, or they lied to us now. I don't know. I'm not really going to call them out on that. I'm just kind of thankful that they changed course and now will announce games that are more than a couple years away, because that's important for the community. That's important to get people excited. That's important to give people faith in the damn console and the brand. Like, that's something I never understood before. Why wouldn't they do that? Hey, and it's not flip-flopping, guy. I told you that if they came out with good news, I would talk about it. This is good news. What, am I supposed to not talk about it? Get out of here. Jay Blaze says Elite Controller Series is GOAT. I don't know. I don't have it. It's a bit expensive for my taste. TLR90 says, just getting here. Thanks. What's going on? So anyway, TLR90, if you guys are just getting here, please hit the like button, share it out. I appreciate it. Yes, Captain Crunch. Rage 2, it looks like that's coming to Game Pass. That's a pretty cool game. If you haven't played it, it's some of the smoothest gameplay you'll find. 60 frames per second is it's really great. But anyway, TLR9, everybody else is just joining and hitting that like button. So what's happening is the X019 stuff leaked out, and there's actually going to be 2 new IP that are going to be announced. A Rare Studios new IP, and also an Obsidian Entertainment new IP. So what's interesting about this is there's a little bit of information about these already. So I'm going to get into the Rare one first. So according to this, and according to this leak, which I linked in the description in case anybody was wondering, Microsoft is going to reveal several first-party games at the event, including a new IP from the Outer Worlds developer Obsidian, and also a new IP, a third-person adventure game based on a totally original IP from Rare. So Rare is getting a new third-person adventure game based on a brand new IP. So this is a new IP, and it's the second consecutive new IP from Rare following the release of Sea of Thieves in 2018. So if you think about it, we're in 2019, almost 2020. They probably had people working on this, so a few years out. According to this, the game is still, quote-unquote, several years away from release, according to VGC, but Microsoft is keen. This is the part that I liked. Microsoft is keen to showcase first-party content ahead of Xbox Scarlet's 2020 launch, especially following a significant spend on studio acquisitions. As well as setting up the initiative and a new Age of Empires studios, Xbox has recently acquired the likes of Ninja Theory, Playground Games, Obsidian, In Exile, and Double Fine Studios. he wrote Microsoft has been investing heavily, and even with next gen around the corner, they have quite a few titles ready to launch next year as well. Of course, I'm not going to lie and blow smoke up your butt. The titles that they have for launch next year don't seem super impressive to me, and some of them are multi-plats like Wasteland 3, Psychonauts 2, Minecraft Dungeons. Those three right there are three Xbox Game Studios games, but those are going to be on PS4 as well. I think probably some of the other ones are like Ori 2, Bleeding Edge, and let me think, Battletoads possibly. So they have, like Flight Simulator, stuff like that. They have some stuff coming out next year, but I don't think it's like, they also still have that Gears Tactics games. So they have stuff coming out. I just don't think they have the stuff coming out that a lot of like AAA enthusiasts are looking forward to next year. But at least it's not going to be like a totally horrible year, and then you'll end it with Halo, which is pretty good. But going into the following year, I think it's important that they actually announce a lot of games for the foreseeable future for Scarlet, because you got to get people excited, because that's what Sony is actually going to do. That's what Sony's going to do. They're going to actually get out there and kind of announce a lot of this stuff. They're going to announce the Horizon Zero Dawn 2s or whatever. That's what they're going to do. So, yeah, this does look like it's a single-player game, guys, which I think is cool. It looks like they want to get back in on that kind of single-player atmosphere. Obviously, they're still going to do whatever it is. But, yeah, I do think that it's that part's very interesting. Now, the Obsidian game, by the way, is I'm much less hyped about that, to be honest with you, because I believe that the rumor is that, and this is just a rumor, so maybe this part isn't true, I don't know, but the strong rumor indicates that Obsidian's game is actually a smaller survival RPG game. So we'll have to see what that means. Maybe it's something that they were working on behind the scenes when Microsoft went to buy them, because we know that they showed Microsoft something behind the scenes that nobody had seen yet. And then, now we kind of see that, they released the Outer Worlds. They have a few teams. So that part is kind of well known. And we also know that Microsoft, obviously, like what they did with Bleeding Edge. Like, I'm not a Bleeding Edge fan. I think that game looks terrible. But, to Microsoft, it's better than nothing. And I guess to that end, they're right. Okay? So I'm not going to knock the Obsidian game until I see it. But hopefully it ends up being good, and it ends up being something that people like. Microsoft desperately needs some RPG. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry about that. Had to blow my nose a little bit there. But yeah, so Obsidian would possibly with this new RPG. So that's two new IP that is kind of unexpected. Like, who expected them to really announce any kind of new IP this late in the year? And to me, why would they do that so far away from, so far away from doing anything, dude? The Chosen One says, "Damn, bro, you keep losing subs." Yeah, man, I don't worry about that stuff, man. I just do my thing, man. If I worried about losing or gaining subs, man, I'd have to be a lying asshole all the time, and I don't want to do that. So I'd rather just do my own thing. What comes, what doesn't. I've always kept it real. Like, I appreciate the ones that I got. I never expected to get over 1,000 subs to begin with when I started this channel. I'm slowing down tremendously in content. I've stopped doing the podcast thing at night. I do these little shows for about an hour a couple times a week, and that's about it. But other than that, man, I've always kept it real. I've never tried to hide anything from anyone. So, yeah. But, yeah, I actually think that it would be cool to see Rare get back to sort of that single-player roots. I think that'd be cool. I think it's a good time for them to do something like that. I'm really interested in seeing what it's going to be called and what they're going to be able to do. Now, when it comes to Obsidian, like I said, man, they really need some RPGs. What's going to happen next generation? And I think that's something that's going to be able to they'll be able to kind of capitalize on coming off the success of the Outer Worlds. Because look, even if you don't like the Outer Worlds, which I haven't played it doesn't look like it's my bag, but it's still a good reviewed game, and so they can be like the makers of Outer Worlds, the makers of this, the makers of that. Hey, one typical, man, I get it, man. People try to pigeonhole me as one thing or the other, and I kind of get it. It's fine. But, I'm going to stick around and do my thing. I've never been. Here's the thing. I don't understand, like, when have people ever seen me brag about views or subs or anything like that? Like, people always had to tell me because I don't keep an eye on it. Hey, you did this or you did that. What I can say is YouTube is an ever-changing landscape. Like, everybody gets sent emails now. And you'll probably see more on this lately, but their guidelines change in December. So now you have to comply. You have to mark your content, whether it's intended for kids or not. Something called COPA. There's all these new laws and things going out. Like, YouTube is really, really changing. Their terms of service are updating in December. Yeah, I would expect the same thing. A lot of things to change in the future. Like whose content is garnered at who. Like, mine has never been really garnered towards kids, but some people maybe have a large kid fan base or whatever, so that might affect them because they aren't going to be doing the ads anymore. So a lot of things change in YouTube, and I've kind of just rolled with the punches, and I continue to do that. I've never hid from anything. I don't hide my subscribers like you can do that. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why people keep such a close eye on it when I don't. Like, they're more into it than I do, or like every little thing I do. It's like, not everything has to have like a big rhyme or reason to it. People are like, oh, you took down some videos. Well, maybe because I sounded like complete crap in those videos, and I was on like NyQuil and stuff when I was making them, so they didn't turn out that great. So I'm just, from now on, man, I just kind of decided, do videos when you feel like it. If you're under the weather, don't stress about it. Don't force it. Don't make videos unless you got something to make videos about, man. And that's just how I'm going to do it from now on. It's going to be less content, but, hopefully it's going to be a little bit more quality content. So if you guys understand, the ones that stick around and understand, I appreciate that. It's one of those things. I've been doing this for a long time, and I understand it's an ever-changing kind of landscape, but I still like doing it, and it's still fun to me. Jay Blaze says, what do you think of Disney Plus getting 10 plus million subs in a day? I subscribe to Disney Plus, so yeah, I can imagine that they did probably got way more than that already now. To be honest with you, it's worth it for me just to be able to stream all the episodes of The Simpsons, man, with no commercials. I was watching The Simpsons yesterday, man, like seasons of that stuff, and, they got some cool stuff. Now, I will say, it's sort of limited right now with what I saw on there, and not everything is like super. I don't think they have all their content on there yet. I think once they start getting, they're having the same problem that Xbox is going to have, where you got to have that content made. Like, yeah, they got content coming, but they should have had more at launch, in my opinion. But it's still a really good service. So, hey, what's up, Snakes? What's up, Carnage? Sonic says, can Project Gotham Racing compete with Forza now? Forza is a household name. I think that Forza Horizon is a spiritual successor to Project Gotham, but Forza is the bigger and better name. So I think that's why they went with the Forza name. So I personally like Forza better, like Horizon and Motorsport, but Project Gotham wasn't bad. I just feel like the other ones were much, much better. So yeah, that's really, really how I kind of feel about it. Let's see. These day shows are cool, and so, hey, man, listen, I appreciate it. What people have to understand is I was doing Crossfire, I was doing MC, I was doing Xbox Nation. I'm about to get married, like, I have a family. It's very difficult for me to go, not that I'm not allowed or anything like that, because nobody had a problem with it, but just with the way things are going, like from 8 to 10 p.m. or 7:30 to 10 p.m. on Wednesdays meant that I had to be left alone and can't converse with my family and, my future wife. And then on Fridays from like 7:30 or from like 6:45 till 9, same deal. And those are, important. I was missing things, dinners and, events and things like that. And so, I know a lot of people think certain things about me, and it's funny to kind of prove them wrong a little bit. Everybody thought, I probably didn't have a social life for the longest time, or, was probably quote unquote a virgin for the longest time or whatever, despite the fact that I was very adamant about, I got married at an incredibly young age years ago, but I digress. It's just things are so much more important to me now. than talking about video games or getting in an argument about video games, So now it's just much more easier, just kind of be cool and talk about this stuff. So, yeah, The Simpsons is my favorite show, man. Exactly. Disney Plus is nice. Yeah, I'm using it on my X. Hey, as you guys get in here, please hit the like button and share it out. Get me to over 100 likes. I would appreciate that. Once again, I like to remind everybody that no matter who your favorite content creator is on YouTube, the best thing you can do for them, it doesn't cost you any money. It just costs a like, man. Give them a like. It helps get them in the algorithms and gets their videos on, display for other people and stuff like that. Hey, I saw a lot of people talking about this new Need for Speed. You know what I mean? That's something that's very interesting to me as well, that it looks really good. Top Dog says Project Gotham is nothing like Forza. It had more style than Forza. Drive Club more like Project Gotham. Well, listen, I like Project Gotham. I'm just not sure it was a big seller, but supposedly, like Forza Horizon was like the big deal or whatever. Nine Live says, will I stream XO19? I'm not gonna stream it, but I'll do a reaction video. What time Eastern is XO tomorrow? So that so that I can just make sure that I can watch it. I shouldn't be any problems, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing reactions to the show and tell everybody what I think. I was going to do that anyway, but I was expecting the reactions to be really bad because I wasn't expecting the show to be good. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly wasn't expecting it to be good, and it still might not be great. There's still, like, listen, I understand, because I'm totally understandable when it comes to this kind of stuff, that not every show is just for me. Not every game is for me. Listen, I like Rare Studios, okay? I like Sea of Thieves. I like their art style. I like platformers and adventure games. So while another hardcore gamer like Mooch, no offense to him because he loves, what he loves, he likes apocalyptic games and zombie games much more than I do, whereas I like adventure games more. So he might be like, whoop-de-doo, Rare, or new game. But me, I'm like, yay! You know what I mean? Like on the inside. So I'm very, very excited by the prospect, and now I'm looking forward to seeing that. The Game Pass stuff doesn't, like, I already own Rage 2, so, but that's cool for people that haven't had a chance to try it yet, because I think it's a really good game to try it. Xavier, hey man, I appreciate it. You know what? Listen, I still got some fans. I'm entertaining. I think as long as I got some entertainment value to myself, I can still be pretty good, even when, I'm busted and broken and sick, you know what I mean? But I wanted to make sure that I kind of did this video and talk about this stuff. I like, don't get me wrong, Top Dog, I like Project Gotham, but I just prefer Forza Horizon. Advice in Death Stranding. Okay, so Death Stranding, I am maybe 5 hours into. I would get more. I don't know if you guys have ever been like sick, if you guys have ever been sick, or if you guys have ever been hurt. But Dirt says family's always first. Crap. Hopefully Xbox shows something for you guys like me to get excited about. Dirt, listen, I love you guys. I'm not saying that I'll never do Xbox Nation again or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, for right now, there's other things, kind of more important or whatever. So, but yeah, listen, I'm excited by the stuff that we're seeing, Dirt, the new IP and stuff like that. I think that that's really going to be something to get excited about. Listen, you know me, man. I like Xbox. I prefer Xbox, but nobody can deny that Xbox has had a really lackluster generation, and you admit that, and you're a big Xbox fan too. I just was more on the front line and took a lot more of the hits. I was the guy that was, getting death threats and harassed. Like, a lot of people don't know that because I kept it quiet, man. Like, how many threats I got over the years, like, literally so many threats. And, you know what I mean? And I put up with so much. So it's very interesting to see, like, everything from the different angles. But I get that, people really care about their pieces of plastic, because I do. And in the future, I definitely I'm more apt to be, I'm just like a multi-console guy now. Like, I prefer Xbox and like that kind of ecosystem, but I'm never going to not play PlayStation or Nintendo, because I've just come to really enjoy the PlayStation games a lot too. And I don't feel like that's wrong. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. So I just really do. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. Yeah, so anyway, Death Stranding. I think that Death Stranding is a really interesting game. It's definitely a game that um, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's super chill. Okay, so like I've been sick and I've been hurting lately, and so I just been wanting a game where you can just kind of chill, and that's definitely that. You kind of there's cutscenes for sure that take up a lot of time, but it's one of the most beautiful games that I've ever seen, and that's not joking. That's like the world isn't very populated, so that explains why they're probably able to do something so amazingly beautiful as that they've done with this game. But the game just looks so gorgeous and so lifelike, and it really is just something really beautiful to look at. Like I'm playing on the PS4 Pro on a 4K TV, so it looks great. So if you guys really kind of got to understand that it really is into that. Snake says, crap, bro, turn it into a joke like Z. Everybody loves his stuff. Yeah, you know what? Look, Z, no, hey, listen, JD, I'm not leaving MNC. I'm just, Xbox Nation, it's on hiatus for the time being, and I'm not going to be on Crossfire, but we're still going to do MNC on Sunday mornings. So, yeah, like the ones that I needed a break from are the nighttime ones, like that take up my evenings. And that's not to say that I'll never come back to that. So, Crapgamer says, is Sea of Thieves fetch and carry better than Death Stranding fetch and carry, which is more fun? Well, I think it depends. There's a story in Death Stranding. There was no story in Sea of Thieves. So, you play Death Stranding by yourself, but there is kind of like this world interaction, whereas Sea of Thieves is you can play by yourself, which is kind of boring because there's no story, but there's world interaction there as well. There's always some kind of danger to be had. So there really is that kind of thing to look forward to. Yeah, listen, man, next gen, I owe that guy a lot. I mean, I would be doing some more collaborations with him if I felt better. Hopefully, once I get better, me and him can get back on the same page and do some more stuff because he's a funny, entertaining guy too, and he's managed to kind of do some amazing things, man. And he taught me a lot about this whole YouTube stuff, about not to take it personally and things like that, and I still definitely do that. Xavier Ingram says, no exclusives on games, man. Xbox has always failed, and they haven't been great since the Xbox 360. I agree. Listen, the Xbox One has been pretty piss poor, and I'm not going to make excuses for that. They've done really, really bad. Hopefully they can... it looks like they're on their way to recovering. If they start saying, hey, we can announce, games that are 3 years out, I think that's the limit for me. Like 3 years is a good number to get people excited. Like if you can't have games out by 2023 from some of these studios, there's a problem. You have to have some faith. Things are going to get canceled. Things are going to get delayed, but at least have some faith that they're going to come out. And that's really, really what it's going to come down to, and get people kind of excited by that. You know what I mean? So the opening cutscenes in the first hour are incredible. No wonder all these movie directors like Kojima. Yeah, it's really something to behold. It's something that I think that people will have to really understand. Death Stranding is really good. Either you're gonna love it or you're not. Like I don't know if there's gonna be very many in between with Death Stranding just because of the way it is. But hopefully, you guys all kind of understand what I'm talking about. Matthew says, why? What did you take personally? Okay, so listen, Matthew. When I first started this stuff, man, everybody and their mother was doing videos about me saying I was this or saying I was that, and it's not. Like this stuff wasn't true. Like I put my foot in my mouth more than a few times and said stupid stuff, but I just felt like I was wanting to do something that hadn't been really done before, which I was trying to be like this shock jock video game guy, and I was. But then it was like people didn't like that, and they would say, oh, well, this or that. And then, one time it was like everybody probably knows this now, but back in 2014, like I had like the worst internet, and I didn't know any better. It's not really an excuse, but my capture card was broken at the time as well. So anytime I would do like a news video, I would just pull random footage off of the YouTube, okay? Like, and I thought that that's what everybody did, like IGN. I'm like, well, that's not Naomi Kyle's footage playing in the background there. You know what I mean? So I looked into the laws of fair use, and it was fair use or whatever. It was like my videos were under a certain amount of time, blah blah blah. So And also, I seen like top 10 countdowns on like Watch Mojo. They would list different things. But somebody was like, I guess thought it was a big deal because I think one of my videos was taken from another person's channel or whatever. I was just using it as fair use. Once I got, people were upset by that. I was like, well, I didn't know, you know what I mean? I was just like just doing this stuff for fun. I wasn't at the time really like invested into it like I would be later. So I had used probably a good, 40 or 50 videos that weren't my own footage. So after that time, that was 2014, mind you, so 5 years ago. People still like to bring it up. But from that point on, it was all my own footage and stuff like that, and I took that stuff all down and deleted it. So it was not really a big problem. It was just people, were trying to use it as a reason to say one thing or another. It was like, you didn't understand. Like, I didn't have a way to put footage up. So I did that. But, it's okay. I mean, you live and you learn. I definitely learned some stuff from that. And mostly I just learned, like, if you ever see some footage I use over and over again, like the knack footage of me running around in circles, specifically because people would try to look at my footage and find other footage and try to match it up and see if I stole it. And so I thought it'd be funny just to use this ridiculous footage while people are so, like, wasting their time to try to match it up. So, there's a lot of stuff that I put up with or whatever. Some of it warranted, some of it not. I apologize for that and many other things over the years. But it's just one of those things that people kind of, forget or whatever. They'll bring up something I said 5 years ago in a tweet, but not the corresponding apology or the corresponding tweets after that better position my position on that subject. So that's always the funny part. JD Gamer says, so no fanboy stuff. What's your honest opinion of Death Stranding and score? Most of it wasn't a Kojima game. What would it score? I personally am not far enough in to score it or to say. I think it's unique and very chill, right? So I don't really know, but if early on I would say somewhere between an 8 and 8.5, it really is something that I've never seen before. And it's so unique and interesting, and this kind of draws you back to it. Like, I keep wanting to go back and play it, but it's like, my mind has been busy, I'm sick, and I don't feel good, and I'm, a lot of people don't know, but I'm hurt right now. I can't walk right now, so it's it can be painful at times to find a comfortable position to kind of sit in or whatever. So it's hard to game, and that's just me being honest with you. So I can't really give you a 100% answer on that. It's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. I always feel like people were hating on Xbox, so I just began looking for positive stuff and found your channel. Been a fan for 3 years. Yeah, dude, that was my original goal too. Like, I was just doing silly little reviews, and I did one video where I was like, I'm buying an Xbox One instead of a PS4. And my reason was just the exclusive games. Like, I've never changed that. Like, the exclusive games were what I'm interested in for a launch of a console, and their exclusives just seem much more suited to what I like. And I was, a big 360 fan. I like the PS3 as well, but mostly, obviously, the 360. Man, 2007 was probably my favorite year in gaming. Halo 3, Call of Duty 4, Assassin's Creed, Mass Effect. Can you imagine all that on Xbox 360? I think BioShock. Holy crap. It was like the best year ever in gaming on it, and the Xbox 360 was at the forefront. Gears of War had just launched the previous year, so there was a lot going on for it, and I really liked Microsoft's lineup in there. To believe it or not, I like Snap. I like their editing. Remember when they had Upload Studios, and that was really cool, and that was before they forgot all about that crap. But I was really into all that stuff because I was, a content creator. This was going to let me like save my content, and I know Sony did something similar, but it was like Titanfall looked amazing. Sunset Overdrive looked right up my alley. Forza, of course. Dead Rising 3 looked great. Rise looked interesting to me, and it had a good story. I know it wasn't the best, but there was reasons why I went with Xbox. Hey, everybody, hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. Please hit the like button. Share it out. Let's see. So what did you take personally? So yeah, that's right. I mean, it wasn't like I was trying to like pass it off as my own per se. I didn't think anything of it. I like fair use is a weird thing. If you go to Watch Mojo, like you can, like people have movie clips, or I'll give you guys a good example. And I usually don't put people's names out there, but I'm okay with Rand Outdoor. If you watch some of his videos, he'll use, and other YouTubers will use Microsoft's presser videos or trailers in their videos. Like, how is that any different from what I was using in my mind? Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it was fair use. I thought it was fair use, and I didn't get in any trouble from it for anything. It was just, once I found out people weren't happy about it, I just was like, okay, I'm sorry. And I deleted the stuff and just changed how I did things. It wasn't a huge deal. I got another capture card. At that time, yeah, I wasn't even, I don't think, monetized or anything. I was just doing stuff, you know what I mean? Like, literally in my spare time or whatever. So I didn't have money to go get like new capture cards and stuff like that. Snake says, I do think it's a good idea for you to take a break and just enjoy games again. I just enjoy listening to your podcast on the road. Hey, no, man, I appreciate it. I'm still going to do this stuff. Listen, when there's content to do it, I'm going to do it. But I also realize that I've made a lot of mistakes on my channel. Titles being one at times. And originally, you know what? Some of the outlandish titles that I use was really just me poking fun at mainstream media sites, because they were the ones going like, Microsoft forces you to download 4K assets. You're forced. It was like, just these really, and so I was using that to be funny, and then I guess it got away from me, and so I try to tone that down a little bit. And then, not only just that, but just the ability to, I think I just like to entertain. So it was like I would try to find almost anything to entertain with, and not all stories need to be made into a video. And I think that was my mistake too. Maybe a little bit of oversaturation of myself, which, that happens, and I try to keep it real with you guys with that stuff, so I wouldn't expect there to ever be a time when I'm doing like 3 videos a day again. That was just insane. It was almost to a point when I was doing 3 videos a day where I was just numb to what I was doing. I would just do the videos and put them up, and then it was just like almost like I wasn't there, like an outer body experience or something. So it was very interesting. Let's see. I picked up Uncharted Lost Legacy really cheap. Gonna boot it up. I liked Uncharted Lost Legacy. It was really good. If the new IPs look good, are you coming back to Xbox? I never left Xbox. I still play it. I still play Xbox. I'm more into, I've been playing more exclusive lately. Like, I play Call of Duty Modern Warfare on Xbox. So, yeah, I still play Xbox. I wanted them to prove that they want to stick around and they want to announce new IP, right? So, if this Rare IP or this Obsidian IP or AAA games, you have to realize that's their first new AAA game announcement since 2015. Anybody would get a little testy with that amount of time going out there, right? Low-end average gamer says, your videos early in the generation used to trigger me, but being a bit older and taking the time to get to know you a bit, I'm a supporter now. Hey, I appreciate it. Listen, I could push buttons, right? But it was easier to push buttons back then because YouTube wasn't like it is now, and there wasn't all these rules, and there's so many different things you can say and can't say now that you could say back then. And so, everybody's got to be careful. Yeah, you know what? Look, Gears 5, I don't mind Gears 5. It's just not really a Gears game to me. It's not exactly what I would think that it would be. Crapgamer or Matthew B says, shame you're going to do less videos now that Xbox is going to win its crown back. Listen, if Microsoft and my ideal thing would be for Microsoft and Sony to kick so much ass that I can do a couple videos a day about it, you know what I mean, and go back to podcasting about it. I would love that for both just to do great and for everybody to be talking about it and be happy, because it sucks being depressed about Xbox all the time. But I have to be honest, man. There was that for me. It's just not something that I'm proud of or happy about. But the truth of the matter is, it was easy to get into that funk because it just seemed like not only were we not getting any games, but you guys got to understand, a lot of the Xbox, because I'm like on that front line again. Not only was I getting hate from like Sony guys or PC guys, but even some of the Xbox executives were kind of hating on me. You know what I mean? Like, I got thrown under the bus more than once by not only just Phil Spencer, but other people. And that stuff stings after a while. You know what I mean? You're just like, okay, here I am. So to be honest with you guys, it used to be I'd get an everyday message from somebody who bought an Xbox because of me or because of my channel. So I'm an influencer. And, you know, they were to get kind of thrown under the bus when I've helped the brand quite a bit over the years, kind of hurt, you know, and kind of stings. And then to see that when I'm not happy, and listen, maybe Microsoft was planning to announce these two new games at XO this whole time. Maybe I had nothing to do with it. Maybe other people like me had nothing to do with it. But maybe I did. Maybe they hear people talking about 2015 as being the last time they announced a new AAA IP. Maybe they hear that people want to hear announcements more than a year away, right? Maybe they get it now. I don't know. Maybe they hear me and a few other people. Maybe they hear just me. I don't know. I'm not trying to take 100% credit for it, but I'm just saying maybe, you know, I don't see a lot of other Xbox podcasts or YouTubers talking the same way I do consistently about wanting or needing games. A lot of them will go, well, I covered that 2 years ago, and, you know, that should be fine. We can all just pretend like Xbox is hunky-dory, right? Like, to me, I always was of the mind that every podcast should start and end with, Xbox, can you get some games for us, please? Right? Don't just cover it once. You got to keep covering it. If you're an influencer, then influence. You know, like, what's more important to you? If you really care about the brand, or do you really care about people donating to your super chat? Right? Like, that's the thing that you have to kind of decide for yourself. And it's like, you have a chance to, if you got a voice, you can get out there and get your voice heard, or you can sit back and let, you know, Microsoft kind of continue to lose ground. And I'm not even just talking about sales. I'm just talking about, like, a lot of people I know just don't even care about Xbox anymore. Enrico says, the funny thing is Kojima made Death Stranding with a message of being kinder, connect with people, and making positive comments to each other. Look at the hate thrown his way. Ironic. Isn't that the way it always goes? And again, remember the other day I said, people asked me about the Kojima situation, and I said, you know what? Sometimes stuff gets lost in translation. Maybe we should wait and see if they can fix this translation. They fixed it, retranslated it, and it's not bad at all. It wasn't bad at all what he was saying. He wasn't attacking anybody. So, you know, the people that were looking to hate Death Stranding and Kojima because he put out a polarizing game, they kind of get that thrown back in their face a little bit. You know, but I got to say, for me personally, I like the game. It's interesting. If you want to wait and see how it goes, then buy it when it's on sale. But it's definitely an interesting game. Yeah, I've had a nice run, Apex. I wouldn't say I'm not done. I'm just saying, you know, stuff happens with these type of things. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna keep doing my thing. Yeah, we still do the tier stuff on Patreon. We're still doing. Actually, we're reworking that T-Rock. And we're gonna be kind of relaunching with some new stuff as well to kind of get and since I'm not doing Xbox Nation, it gives us a little bit more time, and we can put a little bit more effort into M&C now as well. So all that stuff is coming, my friend. Yeah, 3 vids a day, man. Good lord. Ice Queen Gaming says, crap, do you like Sony is doing to tweet anything tomorrow, knowing Sony? Look, I wouldn't put it past them. Maybe they'll announce Death Stranding sales numbers. If it's if they're pretty good, I think like that's something that they absolutely can do. Sonic says, someone tell me the Crapgamer and Phil Spencer story. What happened? Okay, so everybody hit the like button. Let's get up over 100 likes. I would appreciate that. Or, well, we already are, but let's get up over 150 likes then. Okay, I'll tell you what happened real quick. So, back in 2016, Quantum Break was about to come out in like 4 weeks, okay? They randomly, Phil Spencer comes on Twitter and is like, we're going to release it on PC too, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do Play Anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Me and him went back and forth a little bit. I was pissed off because I personally knew people who were PC gamers, one of them a family member, who were PC gamers only, and they asked me, because they really liked the look of this game, they're like, well, is the game coming to PC. And I'm like, no, it's just they've only said they always announce if it's coming to PC as well at the same time, because there had been a handful of games before that were like that. So I thought it was anti-consumer. You had people that could have bought an Xbox One, which was the case for my family members and friends, the couple of people that I knew. And so I was like, people could have bought an Xbox for this crap, and then you turn around 4 weeks prior to launch and say, hey, it's going to PC at the same time. Like, I always felt that was very anti-consumer. I told Phil that I was canceling my pre-order, okay? And he turns it around on me, right? Because I guess he didn't see the other tweets that I can't. He goes, you canceled your pre-order because someone else gets to play the game. And I was like, no, it wasn't because of that specifically. It was because you guys are being kind of anti-consumer with the way you announced this just out of the blue. I feel like that's kind of BS. And, later on, to his credit, man, he apologized. I apologized. We worked stuff out. But, that one tweet, like, I ended up getting alerted thousands of times that night. People were so pissed at me, like, making fun of me and all this stuff. It ended up working out okay. But it was like, wow. Phil really threw me under the bus. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people think that's when I started hating Xbox. They'll bring that up. But that was 2016. And it wasn't until this year where I was really just kind of like, man, Xbox is kind of letting me down over and over again. And I'm kind of upset by that, So, yeah, it's been very interesting to see how all this kind of stuff show. The Real Colito says, please stay off Crossfire. The show has a better flow without you, and the other panel members bring more to the table, to be honest with you. Well, I'm not on Crossfire anymore, so yeah, I'm not on there. So enjoy. Loan says, crap, my getting triggered was my own idiocy. If I hadn't been blindingly loyal to Sony, it wouldn't have bugged me. Listen, Sony had problems to start the generation. I exploited those problems. They had the better hardware, but the worst games, in my opinion, and the worst controller. But then Sony got their stuff together and, did a really good job, in my opinion. So you can't really knock them for what they were able to do. Let's see. Sony and the feds are happy that Xbox is crap and disposable, I guess, Anonymous. I don't know exactly what you're trying to say there. What's up, Rossi the Bossy? Gerald, I take some shots of lemon and honey. Yeah, if I could get out there, man, I would. I definitely would. You know what I mean? But, yeah. So, yeah, I've had my kind of run-ins with Phil and some of these other guys, but you know what I mean. But I gotta say that overall, I think that there's some positive stuff that they're leaving this generation with. If you really want to look at the way things have turned around for Microsoft, think about it. Okay, they did manage to turn things around. If they're at 47 million sold, that's not terrible. It's obviously a regression from the Xbox 360, but at the same time, they're changing some things. They're doing some things that that needed to be changed. Now, I don't like a lot of the change. I'm not into streaming and stuff like that, but I don't care if it's only just an option. But I do feel like they're positioning themselves to be a player, but maybe not till the middle of next gen. And I think that I was kind of right with what I was talking about a while ago when I said a lot of these games might not be ready till 2023, 2024. That seems about right to me, right? Like, if we look at what we're seeing here with Rare, who released a game in 2018, and they're not going to have another game ready until like 2022 or so. That 4 to 5 year mark seems to be, pretty much right where I predicted it to be. So that would mean that we wouldn't see much besides like Halo and some of these smaller things in between, which if some of you guys are okay with that, then hey, good for you. Like, for me, it's less of a reason to buy a Scarlet. They would have to really blow me away. Also, it's a little bit weird that we're not seeing anything about Fable unless they're saving that for next E3. You would have thought that they would have been like doing something Fable related by now, but it just kind of blows my mind that we haven't seen anything regarding Fable in like a very, very long time, or what they're going to be doing. So it's so strange. I don't know. Are the Ravens going to be the dark horse in the playoffs? We'll have to see. We'll know more after the next few games. Texans, Bills, 49ers. If we can win out, hey, not just a dark horse, but home field advantage, I would bet. Sports. I'm not leaving my YouTube channel. I'm just putting Xbox Nation on hiatus, you know, and taking a break from Crossfire, which I already talked to Mooch about it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, I feel like this year was a little bit rough for not just in particular, just gaming news in general, So yeah. Oh, MJ Flick says Microsoft needs to hire this guy. He has the gamer's perspective, not shun him. But what do I know? Well, here's the problem. I'm not a golden boy. There was a lot of people out there that were just like, oh, well, crap said this or crap said that. So next thing you know, Microsoft employees kind of avoided me or whatever, and that's fine. Hey, can you guys get me up to 130 likes, man? I would appreciate that. Again, this has just been a kind of a lot of fun for me doing this stuff, just talking about video games and, sharing my kind of experiences about video games and stuff like that. I kind of never, I don't think that I'll ever stop that because I just enjoy it so much. I have such a good time talking about it and giving my input, and to see people kind of be receptive of that, I really enjoy that. So again, I'm going to be doing XO stuff tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about it. Let me see. It's going to be taking place tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So yeah. Let's see. I'm going to be able to 3 p.m. for. Yeah, I'm going to definitely be covering this tomorrow because I think it's going to be an exciting time to talk about what's going on. And you know what? I'm sure that people are going to want to hear what I have to say about it, especially if it's good or whatever. You know what I mean? I know probably a lot of you are like, oh man, he flip-flopped. He's all PlayStation now. But I told people, I was like, listen, if Microsoft gives me a reason to be excited, I'll be excited. That's what I want most of all. I want to be excited about all the platforms. I know a lot of people don't understand that, but I really do just want to be excited about all the platforms and all the games and stuff like that. I just feel like, this is one of the best things that we can do as gamers, and I know that there's a lot of people consider me crumb side, but I never attacked anybody. I never did anything where, I felt like it was particular like crummy or anything like that. I always just felt like what I was doing was just kind of silly entertainment videos, so hopefully people understand that and people kind of know where I'm coming from. I also saw this that the Xbox 360 got an update 14 years after its release. That's so interesting that came out 14 years ago. I was 37, 27, 26, 23 years old. 23 years old when the Xbox 360 came out. I was such a young man. I tell you what, I was still married to my first wife, and man, that Xbox 360 kind of changed everything. I can still remember the commercials, the Mountain Dew commercials, where they were like, I just want an Xbox 360. It's the greatest day of my life. Like, I can remember that, it was just like such a fun time. And, I'm just very thankful that I've been able to have all these years of gaming. It's been such a interesting getaway for me and a lot of fun. So, yeah, man, I've just been enjoying it. And talking about video games is something that I don't think I'll ever get tired of. So I'm going to continue to do that for the time being and for as long as I can. You know what I mean? So hopefully everybody is going to listen, I'm not saying get super excited or super amped up about this event tomorrow. I'm saying it does seem like there is a little bit of a reason to get excited or to maybe expect that we're going to get something interesting. Do I still have the same industry insiders contacts with the info? I did. I do still have them, JD. So if you guys didn't know, I'm a I actually have made some friends doing this stuff, right? So you can imagine for a while there, I was one of the few people that was pro Xbox. And, and I have a couple developer friends. I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but, you know, I had some developer friends, and they were like double A developers, meaning they did kind of these double A type games, right? And so, like, when the Neo stuff broke and the Project Scorpio stuff broke, they shared some information with me. I actually shared some of it with Jez, and he won't deny it. He'll tell you, like that stuff with the steampunk looking game and that data and stuff like that. I was the one that gave that to him. Obviously, he has way more sources than just me, but I got videos and stuff like that from Sony. I was the one that broke the news that the PS4 Pro didn't have a 4K Blu-ray player, right? So there was that, and and I still have these things. The problem is Sony and Microsoft are so secretive with this stuff. I think only AAA developers or like really high trust level developers are getting like these type of dev kits and type of information right now in the roadmaps. So I've gotten a little bit of stuff, but I haven't got the stuff that I got with the mid-gen stuff, right? Like I knew the Xbox One X name, and I did a video I think 2 months before anybody else knew the name, and people said I was lying. Of course, nobody came back to say I was right, but it's just one of those things. It's kind of ebb and flow, and so it's very interesting to see if like they'll tell me about it. They're like, oh well, Microsoft is like there might be trouble at this studio or this studio is working on a couple of games, and I've heard some stuff, but nothing that like I heard at the middle of the generation. So that you got to kind of keep that in mind as well. Yeah, listen, I'm telling you what, man. Like I said, I'm not super excited by what we're getting tomorrow, but I am very excited. Hey, look, there's Xbot Battletoads. Hit the like button. After being married once before, how could you do it again? A lot of guys I know are like never again. Hey, I was like never again, right? I used to say that for years and years and years, and I guess when you just kind of know. Like when I got married the first time, I was incredibly young and foolish, and I got married to someone who was like 7 years older than me, and you know what I mean. And so it was a lot different situation than this time was. Like I know kind of what I was after, and let's just be clear that it had to be someone who let me be me, and she does that. So while I was like, no, it was like I couldn't wait, and I can't wait to marry this one, So I think a lot of people that say that are just putting up a defense to their personal life, you know what I mean? So they don't get hurt again or whatever. But I just feel like you got to take that chance. I don't even look at it as a chance for me. I've never thought anything negative about this. So, you gotta be willing to go out there and just risk some things to be happy. You know what I mean? Because all day we can come up with stuff. Well, what if this or what if that? Well, what if it's just happy and like my parents have been together for like 40 years. Her parents have been together 40 some years or whatever. So it's like, hey, we both come from parents who were stable and stayed together, and maybe I think that it's going to be like it's so far it's been just the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm excited to tie that knot again. I think it's going to be exciting and fun. Rich says, do you think XO will be a huge show? I don't think XO is going to be like a huge show. It's just going to be an inside Xbox show. But I do think it's going to be a pretty decent sized show, right? Oh, wait. JD Gamer says XO is at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Even better. I'll have plenty of time to cover it tomorrow then. I didn't even know it was at I thought it was 3 p.m. Damn. So I don't think XO is going to be like a huge show. I think it's going to be a pretty good show with some surprises at the end. Like everybody's going to want to get to the end so that they can hear some surprise game announcements or whatever. So, let's see. Divorce is only bad if you lose money or stuff you own. Yeah, that was stuff that I got. Originally. Do you think XO? No, it's not going to be a huge show. No, I got married to someone who was 7 years older than me. Do you know, Crapgamer, do you Xbox Project Scarlet reveal in the UK or not? No. they've already confirmed. Just so you guys know, hold on real quick because this is something that literally just got kind of confirmed by Microsoft as well. Hold on, I'll read this to you guys real quick because this was something I did want to talk about. Hold on, let me pull this up. I was thinking about doing a video on this, but then I was like, might as well just kind of cover this. Okay, so Aaron Greenberg confirms that there's going to be no Project Scarlet news at X019. So if you guys were expecting anything Project Scarlet related, not going to happen. Aaron Greenberg, the general manager of Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft, has been regularly tweeting out his excitement for the event at X019. He taken to Twitter earlier today to tell fans that the focus will be games, games, games. He confirmed to a more specific question that apparently there will be no news about Project Scarlet. Tim Dog, you guys know him. He says, I'm assuming that this is all about games. No Scarlet news will be there or can't answer. Thanks. And Greenberg says, correct. Next year is all about Project Scarlet. XO is all about the games. So we kind of got a confirmation right there, ladies and gentlemen, that we're not going to hear anything about Project Scarlet tomorrow. Some of you guys will probably understand that, maybe you won't understand why they won't talk about Project Scarlet stuff. But for me personally, I wish they would, just because I would love to see anything. Like, obviously, you're not going to show the console or give us a price or a release date, but maybe I just feel like it would have been a good idea to talk about it a little bit, just to get people excited about it. I mean, look, Xbox sales aren't going to drop anymore. They're kind of where they're at. So realistically, we're just at this point where we have to kind of, see what's going to happen and then take it from there. So I hope that we get something sooner rather than later. Enrico says, never say never again, James Gunn. Matthew B says, what is your day job? My day job is dog training and animal rescue, which I very much miss right now because I haven't been able to do it for over a week because the way my leg is. So hopefully, I'm hoping that it gets better. How's my relationship with Microsoft going? You seem to hang over with Xbox news most of the time. I recommend that you play on PC. PC is everything. It's just legacy. Listen, more power to people that play on a PC, man. More power to you. For me personally, I'm not a PC guy. I've never been a PC guy. Installing stuff, I built the PC. I have a PC, right? It's capable of doing some stuff. I can probably play current gen games at like 1440p, 60 frames or something like that. But listen, the problem for me personally is I don't want to play on a PC. I like, the ecosystems of these things that they have, like the PlayStation. I like the trophies and I like that. Xbox, and I know I could play on the Windows Store and still get in that ecosystem, but I just prefer, kicking back and playing on my big. And I know people will go, oh, well, you can hook your PC up to your TV, but man, I get home, I can go in the living room or go in my bedroom and just, turn on my TV with my Xbox, and everything's ready to go. I don't got to worry about hitting big picture mode or did I install this right or anything like that. Plus, even though they're doing more and more crossplay, for the most part, it's dedicated by input device, so I don't really have to worry about going against keyboard and mouse or if somebody's cheating or not, So, yeah, PC's not for me. I understand PC enthusiasts, man, nothing but respect for you guys, but it's not for me. I don't have sciatica so much as I have a grade 2 sprain on my knee and a high ankle sprain. I twisted and kind of, and so it's been kind of, it's sort of, it's extremely painful and hurt and stuff like that. So, it's been a while. It's been a week. I can get around a little bit, but not nearly what I'm used to. So, I've been kind of stuck inside for a week and just having to be kind of taken care of a bit, and I'm not used to that. So, maybe new Xbox Project Scarlet release in 2020. I did a video last night, if you guys didn't see. Supposedly an insider said that the console was going to release on November 4th. you know. So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that, if that ends up being true. November 4th is actually a interesting day because the rumor is that PS5 isn't going to be till like the middle of the month in November, so it would give Microsoft a little bit of a jump. So okay, November 6th, excuse me. So according to this, it comes from a Twitter user. His name is PSE Rebus, and he tweeted a post saying Xbox Scarlet will be the most powerful console when it launches on November 6th, 2020. So he's saying, supposedly this is an insider with some notability, and he says that it's going to launch on November 6th and be the most powerful console. I had previously heard November 20 because Microsoft was going to do something about 2020 or something like that with their marketing, but I'm not sure exactly how that worked out or if that's going to work out. So, I'll have to wait and see how that kind of comes about. But you know for a fact that both of these consoles are going to launch sometime in November, and it really just will come down to which one's going to have the better launch lineup and stuff like that. Hopefully, anyway, that we'll get a decent launch lineup and something that that'll appeal to everybody. I feel like that's something that launch lineups should always try to do. Like, you get a racing game in there, you get an adventure game in there, you get a shooter in there, and maybe an RPG. Get some games that that are gonna like appeal to a large variety of people. That's something I feel like you should do. This was very interesting as well because there was a recent, and this is kind of breaking news because I just did a talk about this yesterday where it was said that Microsoft was at almost 47 million Xbox Ones, but according to Turtle Beach earnings call for the quarter, they actually said that the total number of Xbox One sales has actually reached 50 million, which is like half the number of the PlayStation 4. Obviously, it's very interesting. The difference between them can likely be chalked up to a lot of different factors and things like that, including originally, remember, everybody was like, oh, the Xbox One won't let you use used games and, connect and 24-hour check-in and all this stuff. So very interesting that the sales numbers would put it at close to 50 because I think, it's respectable. It's not like a fantastic number compared to the 360, but at least it's respectable enough to kind of continue on with their legacy and with what they're doing. I really hope that, it must have shown that they've actually been able to do something right, and they've kind of turned things around, and I'm happy for that because there needs to be that competition. I know a lot of people are like, exclusives are bad. They're bad for the industry, blah, blah, blah. I've always thought exclusives were good for the industry. They really drive people to, they really drive people to kind of, to do better, you know what I mean, and to make better. Same thing with the console wars, you know what I mean. I always felt like, wasn't the Xbox Scorpio / One X just an answer to try and beat out the Pro and the original PS4, which had a power advantage? And now isn't Sony trying to beat out the X and what Microsoft has? And then isn't Microsoft going to try to one-up them? It's all about one-upsmanship. Like, Phil can sit there and pretend like he's not trying to one-up anybody, but the truth of the matter is Xbox needs to have the power advantage next gen. They need to have it more than Sony does. And that's something that I think, people might kind of take for granted or something like that. Like when Phil X puts on his nice guy act or whatever, it's kind of clear to me that it kind of is just that. It's a bit of an act. Like he definitely, he kind of, it'd be foolish not for him to not want to win and go out there and do something. I didn't break my leg. I just sprained some stuff, man. Like level 2. Like here's the thing. I played football, and I've hurt various parts of my body to like, even though I'm 37, and so I've had some like early arthritis in certain parts of my body, but and I've sprained things and stuff like that. I've broken an ankle a couple times, but for the most part, everything okay. This was just like a weird situation where I turned funny and things didn't cooperate, and then it just kind of went really bad, and so I really kind of did the number on my knee. It's not like a an ACL or anything like that. It's just like the swelling's going down, and I can bend it and stuff again now, but not fully to where it's been. So I'm hoping in the next couple of few days that I'm able to actually walk around a little bit more and kind of get back to some kind of life, because it kind of is depressing. I know I've shared this a little bit with you guys, but imagine, suffering from a bit of depression and then not being able to go outside or get fresh air or anything like that for, over a week, and you're just kind of caged in or whatever. It is kind of depressing or whatever. So you just kind of want to get better, and it's just odd to me right now because when I try to walk, it doesn't feel like my feet are, you know what I mean? Like especially my left foot in particular is very gingerly sore and so stuff. But anyway, enough talk about that stuff with me. Everybody hit the like button. Let's get up over 150. The IGN interview, I'm not really sure. Ray tracing, guys, don't get into it. Ray tracing is going to be great. I remember when Xbox One NPD, how exciting that game. Listen, the NPD, man, I remember that. Not really. Like, when the hell did they win NPD? It was like 3 years ago. Maybe it was when Gears 4 launched. Yeah, it's crazy to think that Microsoft hasn't really done much to push their consoles lately. Not saying that they will never win an NPD, but it's just so strange to me that they haven't really done anything close to winning an NPD lately. And then, of course, with the Switch, it's pretty much impossible. Yeah, remember the Xbox One, DDR3, and that crappy flash memory or whatever the hell it was on the original Xbox One. It was bad. It was bad, So, yeah, it was very interesting to see how Microsoft kind of reacted to all that. You've got to have, games of Microsoft. That's why I'm excited a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy about Inside Xbox, but I am a little bit excited to see exactly what they can bring up and what they can kind of do with their event tomorrow. Maybe they're going to surprise some people. Maybe they're going to get something good. Rich says, "Oh man, how much you've changed from 2016 to now, a generational difference." Listen, people, it was a different time. I actually believed in Xbox a lot back then, which I guess maybe says a lot for how stupid I am. But, I believed in Xbox. I really thought when Phil was like, we're going to have the biggest lineup ever, the best exclusives. And, I really believed in him. And so I guess that could be part of the reason why I have such a bit of a hard time now. It's just one of those situations where, and listen, I've never been a person. I know a lot of people have a problem doing this. I was talking to somebody on Twitter today, and I was like, listen, because he sent me the video, the link to the article about Rare's new game, and I was like, why didn't they talk about this at E3? I'm not knocking this because it's good news, but why wouldn't they talk about this at E3? People were begging for a new IP at E3, okay? Why did it take so long? Why are they doing it this way? It's cool, fine. I'd rather have it announced now than next year, but why did it, you know what I mean? And he's like, blah, 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 E3's dead. Like, whatever excuses you can make, a lot of Xbox fans will make, okay? When they should just swallow their pride. Like, why are so many people so prideful on the internet? I don't get it. If I'm wrong, man, I'll say I'm wrong. I'm sorry, okay? It doesn't take it just blows my mind. Like, he should have just been like, you're right, man. It would have been cool for them to announce it at E3. Would have gave people a little bit more hope. Would have gave Xbox's E3 a little bit more punch, a little more oomph. But instead, they damage control it by saying something like, well, E3's dead anyway. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'll never be that guy, Let me see. Oh, Ice Queen Gamer says, I know how you feel, crap, and I'm on antidepressant tablets again because I'm not coping since I lost my husband last year. I am very sorry to hear that. That is extremely got to be probably one of the most painful things you can go through in your life. It's that's terrible, and I'm very, very sorry to hear that. But yeah, like I felt like a lot of people are on these type of things. And it's easy to make fun of me for it, right? I get it, but I can take that because I take the jokes and I take the hits all the time from people that like to make fun of me. That I have that problem, when the fact of the matter is most people have that problem. And at least I can admit it, you know what I mean? I can admit it and say, hey, you know, some days are worse than others, but hey, I have these problems, and just like a lot of other people, and you know, I'm human. So, you know, but again, that's what I think, you know, when I decided to change and stop being like a character on here, you know, that became the part where I could finally be happier in doing this stuff, because there was a point in time when I was doing videos, like I said, where I was just kind of numb to this whole thing, and I was just like, I personally didn't even really care. I was just like, you know, I guess I'll do a video, or I'll slap a video together, and you know, it didn't even have to be a relevant video, to be honest with you. It just could have been any crap, you know. And again, that I suffer for that now, and you know, people, you know, don't like me or whatever, or they don't like me because they think I switched to PlayStation. It's like, I was playing PlayStation since, you know, 2014 or 15. So I've been playing PlayStation for many years now. I didn't switch to anything. I've been playing their exclusives that I missed because I was like such a pig-headed Xbox fanboy. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to do that again. I don't have to bash Xbox or PlayStation or anything. I can just be a fan of stuff. But if there does need to be a reason to call them out, I'm not going to be afraid to. That's always going to be sort of my way of kind of talking about this stuff and kind of coping with this stuff. So hopefully everybody kind of understands that. I've always been about that. One Typical says E3 2019 was the last straw for... Yep, E3 was that point for me. So if you guys didn't know, they were like, we're going to do a 2-hour show. They did like an hour and a half show. They promised it to be the biggest and best Xbox lineup ever. They were talking about all these exclusives. They literally had next to nothing. Phil Spencer got up there and announced another new Xbox, and it was like the third Xbox in 4 years, and we haven't had any new AAA IP announced in that entire time. So I thought it took gall. I was like, man, I cannot believe what he's doing. You know, so at that point I was like starting to lose a little bit of faith in there. You know what I'm saying? I can't be like some of these others, and no offense to anybody in particular, because I know people like to record little clips and run to people and go, man, CG's talking mad crap about this person or this person. I don't pay attention to the other people per se. I'm just saying, I know, like, from, you know, just rumor, just from like people like explaining to me what's going on, or saying, hey Crap, did you hear this person says this about this? And like, that's how I hear about stuff, because I don't really have time to watch a lot of you know, these people anymore. But it's like, even the ones that I used to be a fan of, it's like, it's just so much Xbox smoke up people's butts. I can't believe it. You know, it's like almost laughable about how it's just like, Xbox is great. Yup. Great. Yup. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I sort of changed Xbox Nation around and brought in PlayStation people and just maybe more neutral people, because hearing those people just reassure each other isn't my idea of a good show. And you know, and I feel like I could do just all positive stuff, but when there's also stuff and you're an influencer, I feel like you maybe have a little bit of an obligation to talk about the negative stuff. If you got a voice, use it for something more than just kind of, you know, praising Xbox all the time, saying how great they are. So for me personally, that's the way I look at it anyway. And you know what I'm saying? I just really want to see all these companies succeed, and I want great games to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I've hardly played my Xbox One X, the most powerful console ever created, is 2 years old now, and this entire year, so 11 months so far, I've hardly played the damn thing, right? Because I've been so bitter and angry at Xbox because they've released next to nothing. Okay, so like, that's where I've kind of stood. So I was angry and upset, but I still want them to do something good and something great in the future, and I hope that they can actually do that, because I think that they have that within them to do something good, and I feel like they have the studios to put out some good games. They'll probably put out some stinkers still too, but I still have a lot of confidence in them, and I still think that they can still do something really good down the line, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully they can, you know, surprise a lot of people and give us that really, really good AAA that we've been missing for the longest time. That's what I've been hoping for. How do you think Mooch feels? He's a Mets fan. I get it. One typical. I don't have a problem with dealer. Typical is if he has a problem with me, then it's one-sided. Now me and him both said, hey, let's whatever the deal is, it's over. I don't have a problem with him. I don't talk about him. He does his own thing. It's not when I bring up Xbox podcast doing that. It's not RDX or anybody in particular. I used to listen to a lot of Xbox podcasts, but the shows just, for me personally, were not enlightening. Just was kind of a circle jerk. And, those aren't helping anything. Just having people get pissed off whenever you bring up something negative about Xbox doesn't really help Xbox. Do I think Pokemon will be the top selling game of the year? No. I think Call of Duty will be the top selling game of the year. Hey, Mooch is also a Giants fan, by the way. So, yeah, that's one of those things that that you got to kind of keep in mind as well. Stressa says the most powerful console in the world is locked away in my cupboard. I used mine to watch Disney Plus yesterday, so that's cool. Like I said, I just haven't really felt, it's nothing personal against Xbox. I just haven't really felt great lately, so it was just one of those things where I was kind of just just kind of doing my own thing or whatever. So, again, I just always find this stuff to be very interesting. And, I think everybody does their own thing when it comes to, talking about video games or, and I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not going to knock anybody's hustle. That's something that you guys got to kind of remind yourselves of, just things, everybody does their own thing, and I'm fine with that. Just for me, I just like to do things a little bit differently than some of these other cats, and I think that that's fine, so yeah, hopefully anyway. Let's see. I'm going to answer a few more questions before we get out of here for sure. Microsoft saving their load for next gen. Why blow it now? It's a waste. Look at Flight Simulator and Age of Empires. Well, listen, Microsoft is talking about the end of generations or whatever, so what's it matter if they announce something now? Give people a little bit excited about the future. That's what I'm talking about, Why not? Minecraft is still selling well. It's had a resurgence as well. So you got to kind of look at that as well. Minecraft makes Microsoft a lot of money. People get excited about that stuff. Milo, still waiting for Milo and Kate. That game got canceled. I checked out The Mandalorian. I liked the first episode. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was good. I'm looking forward to it. I will say, I'm a little bummed out that you can't watch all the episodes at once like on a Netflix thing. I wish that they did. But yeah, I like Star Wars except for The Last Jedi. Yes, I'm still playing Death Stranding. I haven't played a ton of that, man. I'm about 5 hours in. Rich says, do you think Xbox and Phil Spencer will blow the doors off at E3 2020? Do you think Sony will do it as well? I think that they'll both have really good E3s next year. It's just going to be pricing, release dates, and content are the thing that people are going to be most looking forward to. So, again, it's the obvious. Like when you're stating, how can our football team win? Well, if we run the ball and play defense, we'll win. Yeah, okay. That'd be great. Stressa says it would be good to see games like Resistance and MotorStorm come back next gen. I agree. They own Insomniac Games. Why not bring back Resistance? That was a really underrated franchise. Such a good franchise. And, I really thought that was such a really good franchise. Rosencrantz says, will you review Death Stranding? I will. I feel like probably nobody will care by the time I get to it. But, yeah, I'm going to definitely review it. Who do you think is hurting Xbox the most, the fans or Phil? Well, I feel like Phil has done a decent job at doing some things, but I also feel like Phil's ideas, like not announcing stuff, like obviously this is the big news that I took away from today, is if they're announcing a new IP from Rare that's still 3 years away from release, that means that they've changed their mind on not announcing stuff too soon, right? So that means that they can get people hype and excited about the next Xbox. That's what I want. That's what everybody should want them to want, right? So that's the big news that I took. I mean, the fact that they're changing and they're willing to change and adapt a little bit, that means everything to me. What's up, Yobi? How's it going, my friend? Nice to see you, man. How's things been going, man? I see you, working a new job and all that kind of stuff, man. I missed you kind of hanging out and stuff like that. So, yeah, I am definitely looking forward to Xbox Go VR. I wish they had VR, man. I love VR. I hope that they do. Is PS5 VR day one or going to wait for more info? I think that they're not going to have a VR headset at the launch of the PS5. I think it's going to come a little bit down the line, but I am day one. I love VR. I think that it's something that I have a lot of fun with. I enjoy going out there and just playing something different and being immersed in a game like I've never been before. So, yeah. I'm all in on VR and all that crap, man. It's really, really great. Look, Sony's being aggressive with what they're doing for the PS5. I think Microsoft has been kind of quietly this entire generation almost packing it in and preparing for next generation. So, hey, good for them. They've been able to kind of do that or whatever. Oh, see? 3 p.m. Eastern. That's right. I told you, JD. XO is 3 p.m. Eastern. That's the time when I said it was going to be. So, yeah. Hey, man. Yeah, I'm glad to see you back, man. One of the better people in the community, dude. Always happy to have you come around and watch the shows and stuff like that, man. It's always great. Lazum says Halo is the only reason I'm buying a next-gen Xbox. They got me there. If I had the money, maybe I'd be with you, but I feel like my X will play just fine for right now. So, yeah, I'm really just kind of looking forward to that. I can't give Stadia a chance, my friend, because Stadia requires a strong internet connection that I do not have. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how that works. Hopefully, anyway. I'll answer another question and I'm going to get up. Hey, Patman Jones. I'm seeing a lot of people coming here. Hey, please, everybody, as you come in, hit the like button. Share it out. Lazum says 5-game VR bundle, $199 Black Friday. Look, I suggest you guys get that bundle if you're interested in PlayStation VR because, first of all, PS5 is going to be backwards compatible with PlayStation VR. Second thing is, PS5 isn't going to get VR for at least a few years into the next generation. So, you're going to have plenty of time to enjoy what's going on and stuff like that, man. Always good seeing some old friends in the chat. You guys are awesome, man. I wish you guys wouldn't be such strangers all the time, It's good seeing you guys. It makes me feel good. I like seeing you guys out there. So I'm going to answer one more question before I get out of here. Are you going to get Starlink to get better internet next year? I don't know what that is. So I'm going to say no. Listen, over the last, let me think, 2007, over the last 12 years, my internet has roughly doubled in speed, In 2007, I think I had 15 down and 1 up. And in 2019, I have 30 down and like 2.5 up. So I'm not really one of those people that's buying all in on like the future and stuff like that. I hope that Scarlett gets VR, but I'm not 100% sold on them getting it. BJ says, I'm set with games on Xbox with Game Pass and Call of Duty. Black Friday, I'm grabbing all the 4K Blu-rays. I do that too, man. Who can pass up like $10 4K Blu-rays? If you get the right ones, you get a 4K Blu-ray, a regular Blu-ray, and a digital copy. You can't beat it, man. You can't beat it. It's great. All right. My voice is slowly going because I'm still getting over being sick, you guys and girls. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm going to be covering this tomorrow as well. Please have a great day. I'm going to get out of here for right now. Peace out. Like and share. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell. Rack 'em up. Peace.